In today's tutorial, we're going to be doing the Instagram iconic strawberry dipped in chocolate in colored pencil. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Michelle Moreus, and I make art tutorials that are fun, easy, and accessible for everyone. We're going to be doing this iconic strawberry dipped in chocolate in Polychromos colored pencils on Strathmore 400 Bristol paper. I've drawn out my strawberry in some graphite pencil, and then I've gone over it a little bit with a kneaded eraser to take some of it up so that I don't have such a strong outline and I don't have to worry about the graphite showing through my finished drawing. I've pre-sharpened all my pencils before I start drawing, and I've swatched out all my colors on a separate piece of paper, and I have the numbers down next to them. This way, when I'm looking for a specific color, I can just match it up with the pencil and I'm ready to go. I start by going in light layers with my lightest tone of brown for the chocolate, and I'm just mapping out where all of that chocolate's going to be, and we're going to add in our shadows and leave our highlights kind of pure from the beginning. We're going to build up really slowly and just kind of color map all of our areas. So we're going to just put a little bit of color down over the whole entire piece, and this will make it easier to blend as we go along. You want to definitely keep very light layers though, and not ruin the tooth of the paper. You want to save that for your details, which will be the last part. So I'm going in and I'm just going to start deepening up little by little as I go along and map that chocolate part out pretty good before I get into the strawberry. I am putting a light layer of black down in the darkest part of the chocolate area, and I know I've said in other videos that you want to use black sparingly, and I really do. I'm just putting a little bit down for my shadowed areas, and then there's going to be a lot of other browns and things glazed over that. I put a little bit of black down on those leaves as well, and we're going to go over with a few shades of green. And that black really is just acting as a little bit of a shadow on those underneath leaf layers. So I'm starting with my lightest green for those leaves, and then I'm going to gradually work up to darker and darker values in the green family. I used about 3 greens on those leaves, and you want to make particular note to leave the things where the lights are hitting it. Leave those things out. So go in deep with your shadows, but leave a little bit of that light coming through and your underneath light green layers showing. And we're going to add a couple of tones of green in here. I'm going to give my strawberry a nice light coat of this orangey red color. I want to try to keep it bright and not get too dark with it. So my underlying layer is going to be kind of this orangey red color. But we are going to glaze some other colors over top of it. Now the little seeds, they kind of go in a diagonal row on the strawberry. So I'm going to kind of map those in so that we don't lose our drawing by covering up the whole thing with red. So you can see where I went in a little darker, and we're going to just lightly go over the whole area with some red. Now the underneath of the strawberry, where it's kind of meeting the leaves, is going to be a little darker because there's going to be a little bit of shadow as the strawberry goes around and meets the leaves. And there's also going to be a little bit darker shade of red around where the chocolate is, because there's going to be a little bit of shadow where the chocolate comes over the strawberry. Now I'm going in and I'm just really deepening up in light layers again, adding my second coat of brown to the chocolate part. And we're gonna still go in with more layers on top. So this is only our second layer of the color pencil, and there's going to be many layers on top. This will give you a really rich, hyper realistic look to it when we're finished. And the more layers you put down, the easier it is going to be to blend. But like I said, if you push too hard and scar the paper, you're not going to be able to put too much on top. So still light layers until the very end, when we can burnish a little bit and increase the pressure on the pencil and smush all those colors together. But right now, we're just putting our initial layers down and just going to keep going along and enriching all those colors slowly and gradually. You'll see me go in with the kneaded eraser and clean up those color pencil crumbs off of the paper. You can avoid smushing that into the background by putting a piece of paper under your hand as you go along the drawing, but for me, for filming purposes, I need to just be more careful of that because I want you to be able to see the entire drawing and not cover it up with a piece of paper. So I'm going in now with almost a reddish brown color, and just going over some of those areas and adding a little bit of a reddish brown, more of almost a purpley brown into some of those areas, which will just really liven it up and make it look more realistic. Now your bright white highlights are not going to stay white. We have glazed some color over top of that, so I've put down a little bit of the gray and then a little bit of this purpley brown color, and this just makes it look shiny and beautiful. And don't be afraid to try different colors. It's not just all browns. I did put that little bit of purple in there, and just see what you can see in your reference image and then try to duplicate it. But we're putting so many layers down that it's not going to look purple. It will blend in and it will look brown by the time we're done adding all of our layers. I'm going in with some Payne's Gray into our deepest, darkest shadowed areas to make that chocolate look like it's kind of rolled over that strawberry. And then we're going to just deepen up our shadow in the bottom, and I'm using that purpley red color to deepen up the strawberry where that chocolate is covering it up and where it's going to round to meet the leaves. I use a makeup brush to brush away some of those color pencil dust so that I'm not smushing that into the background or into an area that I don't want that to be. So you'll see me every now and then I'll brush it off or go in with the kneaded eraser. So now we're just going in with a little bit of Jelly Roll pen, and I'm just going to represent where my brightest highlights are going to be. These are not going to stay pure white. These are going to get glazed over with some other color, but sometimes it's easier if you put those in a little bit ahead of time because it does map in where you're going to go around with your deeper tones, and we want to darken up those seeds as well. So we're going to glaze some color over all of this Jelly Roll pen. So now I'm going back in with some more brown tones, and we're on our 4th or 5th layer now of color pencil and glazing over all that Jelly Roll. And you can see it still looks like a bright highlight, but it's a little more natural and not as forced bright white. So we're gonna just give it a good little glaze and make it look a little bit more realistic. Now we're going back into our shadow and our leaves, and we're just deepening that up. We want a little bit more dramatic effect, and the leaves on the left hand side are going to be a little bit darker because they're shadowed by more of that chocolate. The beauty of the Polychromos pencils are they're an oil-based pencil, so they really blend really beautifully, and I don't feel the need to burnish, and because I've gone in such light layers that the pencil kind of does the work for you. It blends everything together, all the underneath layers together, and makes a really smooth finish. Now you can use Prismacolors to do this project. Prismacolors are a wax-based pencil, so they handle a little bit differently, and you have to really be careful not to kind of overwhelm the layers of pencil. You still want to use light layers, but the wax does build up a little bit more on those Prismacolor pencils. So, but use what you have, and you know, just work with what you got. I'm going in with my electric eraser. I'm just picking out a little bit of highlight out of there, so that it's going to be a more dramatic effect. And that's the beauty of going in light layers as well. You can still pick things out with a kneaded eraser, a stick eraser, an electric eraser, and really bring it down to almost the white of the paper if you need to. So if you are trying to push too hard on the pencil, you won't be able to pick any of that out later on down the road. So we're going to go in and deepen up all those seeds now and give it a nice coat of red over top of everything. And we're just going to build up all of those shadowy areas and make those seeds a little darker so they pop out. And the strawberry part on the left is going to be a little bit darker because it is shadowed more by the chocolate. So just pay attention to that. And I'm going in with a little bit of white pencil to kind of smush that together. And then we're just deepening up our bottom part of our shadowed part of the strawberry. So at this phase in the drawing, I'm just really refining everything and making sure that my values are correct. I want to make sure that my darks are dark enough, and I'm popping some more highlights. So we're just kind of cleaning things up at this stage, and you just have to really assess what you need to do. If there's anything you need to change or make darker, now is the time to kind of just refine everything and just clean it up. This is the part of the drawing where everything starts to really pop. And this is where it gets really exciting because you're almost at the end, and everything is really starting to look three-dimensional and beautiful. So just pay attention to all your blending. If anything is looking sketchy or needs to be blended out, then go over that. You can go over that with a lighter color pencil and it'll just mush all those layers together. Or push your dark, deep shadows if you need to in spots. And we're getting down to the end of the drawing. If you'd enjoyed today's tutorial, please smash that like button. Consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified of all my recent uploads. And I want to thank you so much for joining me, and happy art.